Okay. And with this, we commence episode 7 of the podcast. People are going to be shocked to see that instead of incense today, I decided to light a candle, bitch. That is because I want to. And this is my favorite candle. I have to make some room on my little incense shelf for the candle to sit. I am going to burn my arm with that right there when I reach for my coffee. All right, good Lord. Edit this out. I have to do some rearranging quick. This is a mess. Okay, this is a more adequate amount of space. Good Lord. If anyone's wondering my candle of choice, it is the Harvest Spiced Cider from DW Home. I bet you didn't know that DW from Arthur has a candle company called DW Home, but she does, and I got that at TJ Maxx. It has a cute little rubber lid on it. It's supposed to look like a coffee cup, and it does, and it is adorable, and it smells delicious. So, in case y'all are wondering, now where do I do with this, huh? What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? It's going over there on the floor. Because I don't care. Because I can't be bothered today, people. I simply can't be bothered. Oh my fucking God. I have to watch this. Editing Zaebian, I'm so sorry. I have to watch this. No fucking way. No fucking way this is happening right now. Olivia and I are going to shit our pants collectively together, people. I'm sorry. I'm watching a video posted 5 minutes ago of Billie Eilish singing When the Party's Over, which is one of my favorite songs of all time, with Boy Genius. This is Sorry. Oh my God. Okay, sorry, everybody. I just had to watch that whole thing. You could only hear Phoebe Bridgers, but that's okay. All right, candle lit, coffee twink. Let's officially fucking do it, people. Welcome to episode 7 of Things That Go Bump. Woo! Woo! Yeah! That's my favorite podcast. He's great. Thanks, guys. Stop. Everybody, please, just sit down. Shut up and sit down, all right? This is my turn to talk, all right? Are you done? It's because it sounds like you're done. You're talking like you're done. Let's just sit down. Chill. It's 11:11 right now. Happy 11:11. Everyone make a wish. I wish I could stay on track. And I just did the fucking intro. Okay. This one's going to be good, guys. I could feel it in my bones. This one's going to be good. Welcome back to Things That Go Bump. I'm Zaebian, your host, and this is my weekly Goosebumps review podcast. How fun. Episode 7, people. How exciting is that? If you wanted to go to a friend and say, hey, I think that every single day of this week, we should stream an episode of a really good podcast, maybe one where some random gay person from... I just... doxing myself. Anyways. Reviews Goosebumps. You could watch one episode of the podcast every day for a week because there's 7 episodes. How cool is that? Anyways. I just completely said where I live. Whatever. Anyways, welcome back to episode 7. Let's jump into some housekeeping quick. First, I would just like to say thank you to anyone who watched last week's episode and stuck with it. Thank you for letting me get pretty real and getting pretty worked up and just like word vomiting my opinions at you. I hope that it resonated with literally anyone. If it resonated with one person, I will feel accomplished. But thank you for sticking with me last week and coming back this week. I am glad I didn't scare you off by being a liberal. Anyways. Good Lord. I am a male, unfortunately. If you don't remember, yeah. Not much on housekeeping this week. most of my housekeeping is actually just like recommendations of some media that I've consumed in the last week or so. First of all, if you're looking for a good music recommendation, I am like begging you to please go listen to the album The Secret to Life by Fizz. They are a new band. One of my all-time favorite musicians, Dodie Clark, started a band with Orla Gartland. The gays love Orla Gartland. She has that song in Heartstopper. And Dodie Clark, the sad gays love her. I have loved Dodie since I was in like since I was like a freshman in high school, maybe. I love her so much. She's such a good artist. Her music resonates with me so much. And she started a band with with Orla Gartland, Martin Lucas Brown, I think is his name, and then Greta Isaac. They're all musicians. They are all so talented. And this album, people, is so good. I'm a huge fan of the Beatles. Sgt. Pepper is my favorite Beatles album. This album is so Sgt. Pepper coded. It is so good. It's like a rock album, but it's also pretty like psychedelic. And they are just so talented. It's a no skip album for me. It is so fucking good. I haven't been this excited about an album after listening to it in so long. It like takes the cake for like my favorite album of the year. And I don't listen to music that much, so there's not much competition. But like Olivia Rodrigo and Doja Cat dropped albums this year, and I like this one more than both of those. Please listen to The Secret to Life by Fizz. So good. Also, if you're looking for like some new media to watch after you finish watching every episode of Things That Go Bump, first of all, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, I would also go to, unfortunately, I hesitantly recommend Sam and Colby. It is they're like a guilty pleasure of mine. I am kind of in love with both of them. I kind of have a crush on Colby Brock. Don't talk to me about it. Don't talk to me about it. Please don't. Please don't ask me about it at this time. I'm feeling very weak and vulnerable. But they just released their Hell Week series where they spend a week at the Conjuring house. Please. I could go on forever about this series. Please just watch it. If you are a skeptic about the paranormal, if you believe in ghosts, please go watch it. They have some of the genuinely, everyone's saying it, but they have some of the best concrete proof of just a spiritual realm and paranormal, and just like energies existing on this plane, this like energy field with us as humans. They have some of the best proof of it ever that I've ever seen in my whole life. Please go watch that series. It's so good. Also, I know that now it is like Halloween is over officially for me. My Halloween episode came out a couple weeks ago, but today is like 2 days after Halloween in real time. So I spent the whole month watching new horror movies that I've never seen before with my mother. And we watched a lot. Like 14 movies last month that we'd never seen before. Most of them, except for one, came out within the last 10 years or so. And I had some favorites and least favorites. My least favorite, like, do not watch this movie of the ones that I watched this season, is The Curse of La Llorona. That hurts me to say because, God, what's her name? The actress who plays Velma in Scooby-Doo, in the live action Scooby-Doos. I know it's Linda Cardellini. Linda Cardellini's in it. She's the lead in it, I love her, but that movie was bad, you guys. It was not good. Don't watch The Curse of La Llorona. Some of my favorite movies that I recommend. The last movie that we watched of the season is The Taking of Deborah Long. The Taking of Deborah Logan. That movie was... I do not scare easily. It takes a lot for a movie after I watch it for the first time and rewatch it in general to affect, I'm still thinking about it afterwards and I'm genuinely scared to go outside in the dark afterwards. The Taking of Deborah Logan scared the fuck out of me. That movie is horrifying. It's so scary. It is free on Amazon Prime, I believe. Please watch that movie however you can if you like scary movies. That shit was fucked up. So underrated. So scary. Oh my God, it was so scary. We also, what were my other favorites? We did watch Smile. I think I already talked about Smile on the podcast. That was it one of my favorites? I don't know. It was a really good one, I will say. We watched some kind of bad ones and pretty good ones. I showed my mom the Fear Street trilogy for the first time. R.L. Stine fans will appreciate that. I've talked about Fear Street on the podcast. I know I have. She liked them, I think. I don't know. If she didn't, Mom, don't tell me. Dwink. I think the Taking of Deborah Logan was my favorite one that we watched, and we watched it on Halloween to finish off the season. It was so good. Please watch that movie, you guys. Lastly, on housekeeping, my ghost update of the week. I don't have much. I initially I didn't have anything before yesterday, and then I was editing the last episode. So how do I explain this? Episode 6 has already come out when you're watching this, but last night I was editing episode 6, and about 10 minutes in, I saw something that flabbergasted me. If you watch the video podcast, about 10 minutes in, while I am fucking around with my Siri on my MacBook, you can see there's something in it. Granted, okay, I've talked about this before. Good Lord. Oh my God. You guys, I've had coffee and a breakfast sandwich this morning. What is happening to me? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I swear to God, at one point in this little bit of the podcast, I see something like fly in the corner of the camera. Now, I do have pets, so it could very well be an animal hair, like flying in the corner of the camera. But normally, like, it doesn't look like an orb, though. Editing Zaebian, please insert a clip of what I'm talking about now. Do it right now. Stay out of the basement in the Goosebumps series.
The Retro Fear set, September 1st, 2020, includes Stay Out of the Basement.
Did he do it? Awesome. So if you watched the podcast, if you're listening to it, I encourage you to please even go on this video on YouTube. The link is in the description, and just watch this little bit that I'm talking about. It looks like a hair, kind of, but it like flies in the camera and then goes down and out the camera. So it only like goes around the corner of the screen. And I feel like a hair would normally like fly across the whole screen, even like dust. It just looks like it doesn't have an intelligent way of traveling. It's just kind of floating around and floating down most of the time. But like this was very clearly like in the corner of the camera and then back down. It was so weird. It was so weird. Please go watch it. And please in the comments, tell me what you think it was. Like, what, can someone please explain that for me? I don't know. I don't get it. Anyways, so that was cool. That's pretty much my like ghost update of the week. Otherwise, I really didn't have anything else. That's it though. Dwink. Okay, that commences housekeeping. Time to get into the meat of the episode. It's time for the Goosebumps review, and this one is a fucking doozy, people. This one. Anyways, so this week last week we did book number 2 in the series out of 62, and this week we're jumping quite a bit forward. We are now on book number 22. That is this underrated, I'm not even going to say underrated, I'm going to say lesser known Goosebumps edition. This one is called Ghost Beach. I know that this book used to be on my bookshelf as a kid, but I never read it, and I had no idea what it was about going forward. I don't think there's an episode of it in the series, like the TV show, but it was weird. It was a weird one, and I don't know. Let's just kind of get into it, I guess. So brief synopsis of Ghost Beach. This book... Horrible. What a horrible start. Just, for my audio listeners, I just accidentally threw my book on the ground across the room from me. Anyways. Okay, so a brief synopsis of this book. So this book is about, let's talk about this right away. I am so over the trope of names in the Goosebumps books rhyming. So stupid. The main characters in this book, hey, guess what? Siblings, brother and sister, names are Jerry and Terry. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Why? They're not even twins. They're like 12 and 11. They're not the same age. They're not twins. Jerry and Terry, are you fucking for real? R.L. Stine? Anyways, so Jerry and Terry are from somewhere. They're from New Jersey, and they are going to visit. It's so weird, people. It's so weird. They go to visit not their grandparents, not distant uncle and aunt. They're going to visit two distant cousins of theirs who are very old fuckers, to the point that I was like, is this not their grandparents? What's happening? Old distant cousins that they don't know very well in this town, in like a really small town in the middle of nowhere in New England. I don't even think it has an actual name. So they are going to visit their cousins whose names are, I think they're married, not really clearly established there. Their cousins Agatha and Brad. Old fuckers named Agatha and Brad who might be married. We don't know. Whatever. And they are, so Jerry and Terry are just kind of living life in New England. There is a forest off like by the cottage that they're staying in with Agatha and Brad. It's a really small cottage, and there's a forest, and through the forest is a beach. And by this beach is a big cave that's big and scary. The two kids run into three other kids that live in this town in New England, and they start to like weirdly hint at this like lore of a ghost that lives in the cave, and they're like, you should not go there, it's dangerous, blah blah blah. And I don't even know what more I need to describe besides that without just getting into the whole plot right now. But like that happens and hilarity ensues, I guess. It is so whatever. Let's talk about, I feel like this one's going to be kind of short, you guys. This book pissed me off. So we've already let's see. So let's talk about Jerry and Terry a little bit more. Jerry is an annoying fucking older brother who his parents, it says his parents gave him the duty of like watching over his younger sister Terry while they are away staying with these relatives for no reason. We don't even know why they're visiting there. It's so dumb. He like tries to be protective and like courageous, I guess, but he is like actually a bit of a scaredy cat, nowhere near the level of our beloved President Carly Beth, nowhere near the level of Carly Beth, but he is still a big scaredy cat. We also know that he loves studying animals for some reason, and he does have some like logical thinking skills, but he is like super stubborn. When he has his mind set on something, like most of the characters in the Goosebumps series, when he has his mind set on an idea, that is the truth. That is like true until proven false, which is most opinions. I think that's just kind of how belief systems work, but he's like very set in his ways, which is kind of annoying. Terry, on the other hand, is a badass. She's pretty fearless. She likes a lot of cool shit, really creepy shit. And it explicitly says that she like needs the answers to questions so much that when she like reads mystery books, she reads the last chapter to see what happens before she'll even read the whole book, because she just needs the answers to questions so badly, which I think that's a horrible way to live. What a horrible boring life you live. You need the answer to everything. Hey girl, you're gonna be miserable because you're never gonna find that. Anyways, she has some also weird fucking hobbies. So her favorite hobbies are, number one, tombstone rubbings. Hey, that's a horrible phrase. Why is a 12-year-old rubbing anything? Don't do that. But what they mean is like holding paper to an old tombstone that has like faded writing or whatever, and then like scribbling over it to see what it actually says, which is like, okay, weird hobby, cool, I guess, but like who wants to spend their free time doing that all the time? Her other hobbies are collecting wildflowers, which we'll get to later, and bird watching. Talks about her bird watching one time for no reason. This book, I'll say this. This book is full of tiny, very minor, glanced over details that in my former English literature major brain was like, this is important. Every small detail here is going to be important, and it's going to wrap up really cool because they're so like loose ended and so like not mentioned very much at all. But some of them have cool like maybe connections that like keeps you interested in reading the whole book. And then by the end of the book, you're like, what the fuck did he do that for? Because guess what? None of those things are really that important. It's so fucking annoying. This book pissed me off. So anyways, yeah, they are visiting in this small New England town, and they find that this town is actually like mainly consists of their family line, which is their last name is Sadler. Like they only encounter people who are actually related to them. So you got Brad and Agatha. They're the ones that live in this cottage by the forest. And then through the forest is the beach with the haunted cave, like I said before. And also one of those minute details that is literally never mentioned again for some reason is that Brad has like 2 of his fingertips are missing. It literally just says he's a gardener, and it says that he is missing 2 fingertips because he claims that they got cut off in a wolf trap. That's it. Never mentioned again. Spoiler alert, that is never mentioned again for no fucking reason. Why is that an important detail? It's not. That's so stupid. Anyways, that's so like bizarre. You need to back that up with something. Why even mention it if it's not important? Whatever. That's how I feel. Anyways, more Sadlers they encounter. They find kind of early in the book that there's a guy named John Sadler who's buried in this small cemetery they explore that's like in one of the corners of the forest, kind of close to the beach. And he died in the 1600s. So they're like, wow, this goes way back when. Specifically, I think like 1640 something. And another small detail that is never really mentioned in this book is that on his gravestone is the death's symbol. That's what fucking Terry tells Jerry. I don't know how she knows that. It's described as like a skull with wings on the side of its head. And the only thing that I could find when I looked that up is like the death moth, like the moth like on the cover of the Silence of the Lambs, the moth with the skull like pattern on its back and then wings next to it. And like I don't know if that's real or not. Hold on, let me see. She says that it's like a Celtic thing. Puritan. Oh, that does make sense. Okay, that makes sense a little bit more. Never mind, guys. That isn't completely irrelevant. Death symbol Puritan. Sorry, I'm doing some research live on the air, as I have done multiple times. Okay. So that's a little bit of foreshadowing for what happens at the end of the book. All right, R.L. Stine, you got me there. That's a good one. You got me there, girl. Okay. Making a bit more sense. I know what they're talking about. Editing Zaebian, put an image of what I just looked up right here, and people will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I get it. Okay. Anyways, moving on. We'll talk about that later. Some of the only other characters they encounter in this book are these 3 children named Sam, Louisa, and Nat. Guess what? They're also Sadlers. But anyways, these kids are fucking weirdos. Sam is always like scaring Jerry for no reason. Again, a la Carly Beth. They always appear where the 2 kids are, at the beach, anywhere else. They are always there, and they're so stupid and annoying. Now let's move on. There are lots of like plants referred to in this book because, you know, Terry likes to collect wildflowers, and Agatha and Brad are gardeners, so it talks about fruits and vegetables a lot. Blah blah blah. Some of them are kind of weird. Agatha, I think, tells Terry about some flowers she could look for they find like butter and eggs. Is that a real flower? Looking that up right now. The other ones are asters and goldenrods, and I'm pretty sure those are real, but butter and egg. Oh, it is real. Okay. Zaebian put a picture of those up there too. I'm exhausted by this book, guys. Lastly, there's the last like really important plant that I feel like is mentioned is called Indian pipe. again, I need to look up a picture of that right now. It is some weird plant. Oh, weird. Oh, that is weird. Ooh, I don't like that. That makes me really uncomfortable. I don't know why I don't like that. Editing Zaebian, you know what to do. That is so weird. It's like a droopy white flower that grows in like clusters, and it has like, ooh, I don't like that. Anyways, yeah, they're looking for Indian pipe, and Agatha tells Terry, I believe, that it's like a white plant, but when you pick it, it turns black when it dries, and that's what Terry does. She like, can you hear them? Can you hear my dogs? Absurd. Fucking ridiculous. Anyways, she like presses them and puts them in a scrapbook or whatever. There's a whole chapter where they're looking for this type of plant for Terry, and when they are looking for it, fucking Jerry finds like he finds something sticking out of the ground that's like white, and he thinks it's one of the flowers, and he pulls on it, and guess what? It's a fucking skeleton of an animal. And then guess what? The three kids appear out of nowhere after they've met them before, and hilarity ensues. So that's just one of the weird things with plants. I'll talk about that a little bit more. I kind of don't want to, though. Like I said, the stupid fucking details in this book, it just pisses me off to the point that I'm like, I don't even want to fucking talk about them because it's so useless. It pisses me off so much. Anyways, now let's kind of move on to just the legend of the ghost alluded to in maybe the title of the fucking book, Ghost Beach. So you've got the legend of the ghost. Sam, the oldest of the three mystery kids, is really especially stubborn about, like, he's very stern on not telling Jerry and Terry about this legendary ghost that they like keep alluding to very vaguely every time they see them, and it's really annoying. And whenever the two kids, Jerry and Terry, bring it up to Brad and Agatha, they pretty much avoid and disregard any suspicions that the kids have about the ghosts in the cave. And there's one time that they talk about the three kids, and they're like, oh, those kids are weird, just don't listen to them. But yeah, one of them, I think I already said this. There's Sam, Louisa, and Nat. Nat is the character in fucking Beast from the East. Why can R.L. Stine not think of any good names for his characters? Anyways, Nat is a 5-year-old, and they show up when these kids find this skeleton that they believe to be a dog, not a human. And Nat, crying 5-year-old child, proposes that a ghost killed the dog, along with a bunch of other skeletons of animals that they found. And he literally says it's because dogs always know when someone's a ghost. Dogs are always like warnings when someone's a ghost. And that ties back to fucking what happened with, what's the dog's name? Petey in Welcome to Dead House. That's exactly what fucking Ray Thurston, I think Ray Thurston was the melted kid's name. That's what he told them. He said that dogs are always warnings. So it must be true because R.L. Stine says so in multiple books. Eventually, Louisa shares that this ghost, it's basically, the lore is that there's this ghost that hides in the cave, and it like flickers a light at night, and it like shoots howls out of the cave at night too. And it's just like spooky for the kids or whatever. And Louisa shares that it only comes out of the cave on a full moon. Like it only leaves the cave on the full moon for some reason. I don't know. And then, yeah, howls and lights come from the cave at night. Peter, who the fuck is Peter? Jerry. Who the fuck is Peter? Jerry eventually sees this light one night, and he like leaves the house and he goes to the cave, and it's a whole thing. So now we kind of get to the ghost and the cave. Jerry goes to the cave secretly, but finds out Terry followed him. So they're both at the cave. They follow this like flickering light that everyone sees from far away from the cave. They follow it into the cave. They discover that the cave actually has a really long tunnel in it. So they're going down this tunnel, and at the end of it, they discover a room surrounded by like flickering white candles. I didn't even do that intentionally, guys. I did not light a candle for the first time instead of incense because of this. Oh my God. And I didn't even, oh my God, I did not do this. I promise I did not do that on purpose. But So yeah, they discover this room at the end of the tunnel that is surrounded with like lit white candles, and then in the middle of it is just some scary ass ghost man that chases them while they escape. Before we move too much further, let's talk about my picture of the day. I have portrayed exactly what I mentioned prior to like 3 seconds ago. I am talking about what I Dwank. You guys, this is not going well. This is a rough episode for me. Let's talk about the picture of the day. As we can see, I have portrayed the inside of the cave that I just mentioned. I have some candles all around the room, and a creepy old man sitting in the middle of the room. He is described to have like bony hands, so I tried to make his hands look squiggly to resemble bones, because bones, everyone knows, are squiggly. And that I can tell you with 100% certainty because I am a doctor, chiropractor, nurse practitioner, skeleton myself. I have a skeleton, so I'm quite experienced in the realm of having squiggly bones and working with squiggly bones. What the fuck am I talking about? Just stop. Just someone please tell me to shut the fuck up. Anyways, there's also some bats at the top of the cave, because it talks about how there's bats in the cave. And that's it. There's a bunch of bats in the cave. Cool. And yeah, so the two escape, and the ghost like tries to strangle, I think, Jerry or something. I don't know why my brain immediately tells me that if someone gets grabbed by a scary thing, it's immediately strangling the kid. But I don't know if that happened, but I think it happened. Anyways, they get out, and the trio shows up that night at Jerry's window in the cottage. Weird fucking kids. What is this, Romeo and Juliet? Am I right? Anyways, the trio show up at Jerry's window. Fucking, Jerry, where art thou, Jerry? And these kids are so stupid, by the way. These kids are so fucking stupid. He's like, be quiet. If you're standing outside, Agatha and Brad might hear you. Come inside into my room so I can talk to you about what happened. Where's the logic? Where is the logic here? These kids are so fucking dumb. It is infuriating how dumb these kids are. Oh my god. I just want to take each of these children and smack them in the head. Ugh. Fucking Jack Black from School Rock. If it was something, I'm no problem smacking him in the head. That's me right now with these stupid fucking kids. Anyways, so they show up, and Jerry tells them what happened, and they tell him that they suspect the ghost wants to kill them. These children who live in this village tell Jerry, the ghost wants to kill us like it killed the rest of the animals that we have found skeletons of. But you two, Terry and Jerry, you two can help us make it disappear. And of course, guess what? Instead of telling them how they can do that right then and there, they leave. They fucking leave. After that encounter, Terry and Jerry find themselves in a cemetery, back at the cemetery that they were in before. So they go into the cemetery again, and it's raining. And because of that, the three kids never show up to tell Terry and Jerry how they can help stop the ghost. So the two are just investigating, and they discover that the cemetery where they found the tombstone of John Sadler in the very beginning of the book is actually full of Sadlers, like only Sadlers, name after name after name. It's full of Sadlers. All of them died in 1641. Weird shit. All of them various ages. All of them died in 1641, including 3 tombstones for the 3 weird mystery kids. Ooh, I didn't see that one coming. It's not like R.L. Stine did the exact same thing in his very first book in this series. I guess we're just supposed to forget that he did that and be surprised. This book was so dumb. Anyways, so they find the trio. They go back to Brad and Agatha, and they say, what the fuck is going on? Why is the cemetery full of saddlers, including the 3 children that we have befriended in our time here? Brad and Agatha tell them, this goes back to what I mentioned earlier. Brad and Agatha tell them about a story about how in 1641, a large group of saddlers who were pilgrims came from England and settled in this town that they're in New England. And that year, they experienced one of the worst winters in history. And by 1642, most of them were dead because of how horrible this winter was. And now everyone this is where I was like, I believe that. That's good. It's like realistic. The time period's right. The setting is right. That's good. And then tie it back to what I talked about with the Puritan symbol that was on John Sadler's tombstone. That Puritan symbol, the death with the wings. That, now that I understand and remember that that's a Puritan symbol, that makes sense. That is a good foreshadow. I like that. That's good. However, now fucking Agatha and Brad try to cover up this story and the weird suspicions of Terry and Jerry by saying that now everyone in town is actually just named after the pilgrims who are buried there. They're all named after their ancestors. And she says, yeah, if you go to the cemetery, you're going to see like an Agatha and Bradford Sadler buried there too. We're named after them. No, you're fucking not. That's not true. Hey, that's not fucking true. From this point on, I knew exactly what was going to happen in this fucking book. You know what I mean? That's not true. But guess what? Dumbass Jerry and dumber ass Terry believe them. They believe this fucking stupid story because they're some dumb fucking kids. I hate kids so much, and it's because of Ghost Beach. These kids are so stupid. Ugh. Anyways, when they this weird connection of like pilgrims to the story did throw me back to the fucking Indian pipe flower though. I was like, is this supposed to be some like weird vague hint to children reading this book that are being disserviced by the public education system? To like, is this a weird hint that the pilgrims were actually treated like fucking, or the pilgrims treated Native Americans like fucking garbage when they came here on their pilgrimages? Pilgrimages? Is that a word? I don't know. When they came here and they found the Native Americans on this land, and then they treated them fucking horribly and murdered them and killed them. Is that supposed to be some hint? Because the Native American, the Indian pipe flower, it's a white flower when it grows out of the ground, and when you pick it, it dries up and it turns black. Like just decrepit and wilting and like, I don't know. I think there is some cool connection there, but it's underdeveloped and never talked about again. And it's to the point where I can't even pinpoint what the fuck he's exactly could even be trying to say there. So I feel like it's not intentional, and that pisses me off. That makes me upset because some of the other books have such good, clear commentary, and this is stupid. I am pissed. Anyways, so after they find that out, then they basically continue the plot of finding the 3 kids and then make the plan to kill the ghost. Kill a ghost. Also, they keep saying we're going to kill the ghost. Hey, the ghost is dead. Anyways, the trio, I promise people, this book just gets fucking stupider. Please bear with me. The 3 kids tell Terry and Jerry that they need to push some giant rocks that are sitting over the mouth of the cave. They need to push them over so that they cover the mouth of the cave. And then the ghost will be trapped inside. There are some flaws in this plan that I, as a reader, immediately had. And let me tell you, Jerry and Terry also had their weak suspicions as far as like, that doesn't sound like it's gonna. Why? They have some questions, and they ask those questions. And here are the stupid fucking explanations that these stupid fucking kids give them. They say, well, if we do it and we fail, the three kids are saying this to Terry and Jerry. They say if we do it and we don't do it well, the ghost is going to find us and get us because we actually live here. Okay. And they also say, well, it's the cave. It's actually a sanctuary. And everyone knows that if you trap anything evil in a sanctuary, it won't be able to leave. Huh? Is that fucking true? Because as far as I know, that is some fucking horseshit, bro. Hold on. Let me look this up for real. That just doesn't make fucking sense, because if you trap evil in a fucking holy sanctuary, why would you not want it to escape? You want that to be like the purest place ever. That's the point of a fucking sanctuary. It's a place of healing. Hey, of course no one has ever asked this fucking question before. Yeah, why wouldn't you cast something evil trapped in a sanctuary back to hell? Stupid. These kids are so stupid. Take a shot every time I fucking say that, because it's just so relevant. And then the three kids say, oh, well, we're not going to help you push the rock. We just want you to push the rocks. And if something goes wrong, if the ghost shows up, we will stay below the cave and distract him while you guys push rocks over. This is the stupidest fucking shit I have ever heard. This is the stupidest shit I have ever heard. Let me say one more time. This is the stupidest shit I have ever heard. What the fuck? And better yet, Terry and Jerry, they say, they eat this shit up. And they say, okay. Well, actually, Jerry second guesses the plan, and Terry says yes. I wanted to rip her fucking head off. Oh, dumb kids. Then, pretty much right after that, they actually initiate the plan. And guess fucking what? They do it on a full moon. You know, the one night a month where the fucking ghost can actually exit the cave and show up. Stupid. These are stupid fucking kids. And it's raining this whole night too. Such a weird detail. Anyways, so yeah, Terry and Jerry go up to the top of the cave. They find these rocks. They begin to push them, and the three kids are down where they say they're going to be. And immediately, before they even move a fucking rock, the three kids start waving their arms and shit, and Terry and Jerry are like, what is going on? Is something wrong already? The three kids, these little stupid fucking bastards, bolt into the woods, and Terry and Jerry find that the ghost is, surprise, behind them and traps them and brings them into the cave. No fucking shit. God, these kids are stupid. And then this kind of enters the plot twist of the book, which is lame. The plot twist of the book is that the ghost is actually a scientist. Ooh, go figure. Named Harrison Sadler. He's a scientist. He's a part of the family. And he tracks down, his whole mission is tracking down the Sadler family history, including what happened to all these pilgrims or whatever. And the trio of kids. Oh my God, the trio of kids are actually dead and they're evil spirits. Oh my God, what? This book is just, now that I'm reliving it, it's just, I'm realizing again and again how bad it was. It's just so shit. Anyways, so he says that trapping the ghosts in the cave will actually work, and he wants to trap the three evil ghosts in the cave because apparently those are the only fucking evil ghosts in town. We don't experience literally any other characters in this book except the evil ghost kids and Harrison Sadler. Whatever. So Jerry is still like, I don't believe you, dude. He's face to face with this human being who is telling him the three ghosts are the three kids are the ghosts, and he says, I don't believe you. And Harrison says, okay, go to the east corner of the cemetery that you've been investigating, and then you are going to come back here. He doesn't even say like you are as in like a threatening way. He just says like, you're going to come back here. I know you're going to, because you'll believe me. So they do. And they find 2 freshly dug up graves for themselves, for Jerry and Terry Sadler. They are going to die as well. The 3 ghost kids are planning on killing them. But then the trio shows up again, does not acknowledge the 2 graves at all. And Jerry still doesn't fucking believe Harrison Sadler. This book fucking infuriates me. This stupid fucking kid is so annoying. Ugh. But the trio shows up, convinces them to go back to the cave and try again. And Terry is very weirdly like, yes, I'll go. She's like, yes, I will go. Let's do it. And on the way up, Jerry is like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you say yes? Why do you want to do this? And then she pretty much reminds us, like, I need the answer. I need to solve this mystery. I need to figure out what's going on, because she's just a stubborn 11-year-old fucking girl. We're almost done. We're almost done, guys. We are so close to being done. So they go back to the fucking cave. The 2 of them, I don't remember exactly how, but the 2 of them convince the 3 kids to actually go into the cave with them and to like look for the ghost or something. I don't know. And Harrison shows up behind them, like pops up behind them when they are all in the cave, and he's holding a torch like a fucking caveman. He shows up and he's like, holding a fucking torch. He's like, I'm gonna eat you. I don't know. And then there's this whole debate of like, he's the ghost. No, he's the ghost. No, he's the ghost. No, he's the ghost. No, he's the ghost in the cave. He's the ghost. He's the ghost Beach. He's Beach. Ken from Barbie enters. He says, no, he's Beach. Oh, we're so close. I can't shut down now. Harrison calls a fucking... Harrison signals for a German Shepherd, his pet German Shepherd we didn't know exists, to come through the cave. And that's supposed to explain the weird howling that we hear from the cave when there's no other dogs in town because all the dogs are dead. Harrison has a German Shepherd that comes out, and it's basically a test of like, ooh, who's he going to growl at that reveals who the ghost is? Surprise! He growls at the kids. I'm shutting down, guys. I'm shutting down. And then once this is revealed, there's another basically ode to Welcome to Dead House, because I guess R.L. Stine couldn't come up with any original concepts when he wrote this book. And the children, hey, they begin to fucking literally deteriorate. It talks about how their hair falls off, their skin falls off, their eyes fall out. Like the exact same fucking thing that happens in Welcome to Dead House. And they begin to deteriorate as they are also begging Jerry and Terry to stay with them. And they're like, stay, let's be friends, which is like morbid. There's like a 5-year-old who's like, no, let's be friends and stay with us and play and blah, blah, blah. And then Jerry grabs Terry and the 2 escape. Mind you, it is all raining during this. I'd like to remind you, if I think I already said that. And just when they escape, I don't know, there's like a bolt of lightning or something, or just the rocks above the cave, they like slip down somehow. Something strikes them and they fall down over the mouth of the cave, and it actually collapses, and they like the mouth of the cave is covered like they were originally planning on doing. And it's like, okay, cool, they got out and the ghosts are trapped, work. But then this actually did shock me. Harrison was still trapped in the cave, the living scientist. So he basically gave his life to his work and sacrificed himself to also be trapped in the cave with these ghosts who are probably going to kill him so that they would be trapped as well and not harm anyone else. That's crazy. And yeah, so now it's time for another plot twist. Jerry and Terry go back to the cottage. They tell Brad and Agatha what happened. Everyone's like, oh, yay, whatever. And then somehow the dog, the German Shepherd from the cave, of course the dog made it out of the fucking cave. Why wouldn't the dog make it out of the cave that had boulders collapse? What the fuck are we doing? What are we fucking doing? This book was stupid. The dog shows up to the fucking cottage and, surprise, it growls at Agatha and Brad and reveals that they're ghosts. And the big cliffhanger is Agatha saying like, shit, the dog revealed her secret. What are we going to do with these kids now? End of the book. Oh no, they're going to get eaten. Oh boy. This book was a fucking doozy. And again, there were just so many, like, overall, hated this book. There were so many minor details, like I said before, that were so much more intriguing than anything else that actually happened in this book, because they are like weird puzzle pieces that you think you have to put together to like connect shit and like find some deeper meaning in what's actually happening, and then it just means nothing, and it is just so much wasted potential in this book. It's so annoying. This was basically just like set up to be like something with deep commentary, and then it ends up just being a stupid fucking ghost story that, if you've read the first book in the series, is so fucking unbearably predictable. Okay, well, that's my review of Ghost Beach. Let's get into the fucking numbers now. It's time for everyone's favorite segment. The numbers. I'm doing it's happening. I'm shutting down, guys. I'm shutting down. This book took a lot out of me. We're moving on to the numbers. We're starting with, as always, the spookiness of the concept of this book. I tried to be as fair as possible when I was rating this book, people. Please just bear with me. I gave it a 3.6, not a 6. I gave it a 3.6 out of 5. Because, again, I love a good discovery of lore in a small town plotline. And I think the idea of a cave-dwelling ghost posing a threat to the lives of children in a small town like this is spooky enough. I think, to be fair, that's pretty scary. Kind of badass. A ghost that specifically wants to eat dogs and children. Hey, I wouldn't fuck with it. I'd be scared of it. All right. Moving on. The villain in the story. 2.5 out of 5. Because this just is such... At this point, I'm literally 7 books into the Goosebumps series. This trope is so tired of, surprise, they're actually ghost kids. They're actually the villain. Yeah, no fucking shit. Anyways, it's and so much, as I've said, so much of this, the ideas in this book, and so much of the villain idea in this book specifically, just was completely repeated from Welcome to Dead House, and it just could have been so much cooler. So much wasted potential in this book. That's what it should have been called. Instead of Ghost Beach, they should have given it a scarier title of Wasted Potential. Now moving on to the protagonists, the reader's tolerance of the protagonists in this book. I rated both Jerry and Terry because there's basically like one chapter where it's only Jerry. It's primarily from his POV and not Terry, but they are pretty much together for the whole fucking book. So I rated both of them, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Jerry is kind of annoying, and Terry is a total badass, as we mentioned earlier. Both of them kind of balance each other out, with Terry kind of giving Jerry a push to go out of his comfort zone every now and then Jerry is also there to provide Terry with some logical thinking skills, so she's not so like in go mode all the time, even though she mostly is, and Jerry's not very successful at what he does. And then they don't get a higher score than that because their shared indecisiveness when it comes to examining details is fucking laughable. Like the entire end of the book where Jerry was literally, he saw 2 freshly dug graves for him and his sister in the cemetery full of their family members and said, I think he's lying to us. Open your fucking eyes, kid. Open your fucking eyes. So annoying. Anyways, moving on to the plot twist and resolution. I gave it a 1.75 out of 5 because this shit was fucking dumb. As soon as they discover the cemetery, the plot twist was beyond predictable. Like I said, as soon as they discover that all of the fucking names were Sadler's and they see the 3 ghost kids' names on a tombstone, like no cover-up story was actually good enough to hide what was going to happen. That was such a stupid fucking... Oh, we're all named after our ancestors who died. Who's we? You and the 5 other people who live here? Like... Guys, this was so stupid. It was still like kind of a like creepy ending though, that they ended up being ghosts. In hindsight, that's pretty scary. Even though we've seen it before, kind of scary. And I was shocked that Harrison died. I don't think we have ever actually, so far as what we've read in the Goosebumps series, I don't think we have ever actually seen someone die like I don't think we've seen a death of a living person in these books before. If anyone has ever like died, it is a monster or it is like someone who is actually a ghost. I don't think we've seen a living person like sacrifice their life or just like be killed in one of these books, which is wild. So 1.75 out of 5. That is generous. And lastly, the underlying messages and social commentary, I gave a 2.25 out of 5. Again, I feel like there was definitely some underdeveloped commentary about the realities of the pilgrimage to America in the 1600s and the effect that it had on the land and Native Americans. But that idea was so fucking neglected that I cannot pinpoint what actual point was trying to be made. And I don't think there was a point trying to be made. I think R.L. Stine just threw those stupid details in there and then like almost like forgot about them. I don't know, people. I don't know. It was so unfortunate because that would have been so cool if it was better developed. It would have been so cool. Like, come on. Wasted potential. I don't know how many more times I could say it. Oh, and then lastly, did I get Goosebumps? Fuck no, I did not. This book was dumb. So, we find the average score of this book, and it comes out to be a whopping 2.72 out of 5. This is officially the lowest rated book in the Things That Go Bump cinematic universe. And it is also the first book to receive a lower score than The Haunted Mask. It is officially the first book to receive a lower score than The Haunted Mask and Carly Beth. That, in my brain, is legendary. And I am also shocked because although I hated it, the weird details in it kept me more interested in it than some of the other books that we've read so far that received higher scores. But it was still just so disappointing. So disappointing. But the numbers are the numbers, and we really just have to respect that. So there's nothing more I can do here. This book was bad. I was as generous as I possibly could be, and it was bad. It did it to itself. I feel so brain dead after this episode. I just, live on the air, realized how much I hated this book. Anyways, I have to be done. That's the end of this episode. I hope you liked it. If you didn't, I don't want to hear it. If you did, and you're watching the video podcast on YouTube, please leave me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about anything that we talked about today. And also subscribe to my channel so that you can see when I upload a new video. I would really appreciate it. I appreciate the support. If you are listening to the audio podcast on whatever streaming platform you're listening to it on, please leave me a rating or follow my channel on your podcast platform so that, again, you can see when I upload new episodes. And also, if you are a fan of the podcast, please word of mouth, spread the word. I post shit on Instagram and TikTok. If you want to share them with friends or whatever, spread the word. Let everyone know about your favorite podcast that is actually a Goosebumps review podcast that comes out every week. I like to have a good time with you guys. Let everyone else have a good time with us. Let's spread the community, share the love, spread the word. This is a fun time, I think, for me at least. But yeah, tell a friend. Phone a friend, like in a show where they do that that I can't think of right now. Also, if you want to, speaking of my socials, if you want to follow me outside of the podcast on my socials, or if you want to support my small art business called wherefore.art.thou by Z, I make much better things than I do like this picture for the day. All the links that you need are below in the description of this episode, all my personal socials and all the links to my art stuff. And that's it, I think. I'm sorry for this episode. I'm sorry. It's not my fault that this book was so bad. I am just here to give you my honest opinions on it. Last week was real good. This week was real bad. I hope next week is somewhere in the middle to make my life a little bit easier. But we'll see what happens. Until then, keep it loosey and stay goosey. Peace out, people.